Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're gonna hop right into this. I'm gonna go ahead and prime my face with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. This primer is amazing. I've been using it for a long time now. I just put it in my T-zone and where I notice pores show up more so throughout the day, especially when I'm wearing foundation. Then I just hop into my new Fenty Beauty foundation. This stuff is amazing. I've never bought a high-end foundation till now, and I'm obsessed. It's so worth it. It's only 34 bucks, and you get a whole ounce and a quarter of foundation. I suggest putting it on in sections because it dries pretty fast. It's very matte. It's more for combination skin, so if you have oily, then I suggest a really good primer. If you have dry skin, this might not be for you unless you add a face oil before. I'm in the shade 290. So far, the main reason I like it is because it oxidizes really well. I have really problems with foundation oxidizing too dark on my skin and turning an orange color. This was the first color I color matched myself to, and I felt it worked pretty well. It might be a shade too dark, especially towards the winter, but so far so good. And to blend it all in, I'm using the Beauty Blender from Sephora, the little pink one. I used to not like this one, but I got used to it. I'm going to go in with my NYX concealer. I'm in the shade 02. It might be a tad too light, but it's one of my favorite concealers, drugstore concealers. Shape Tape's also really good, and so is the Fit Me. Just put it under my eyes, around my smile lines, on my chin, then I go ahead and put it on my forehead. Then I'm going to go ahead and blend it out again with the Beauty Blender, the same one I used. Make sure you're using a damp Beauty Blender, not a dry one. It feels so good to be back on YouTube and making videos. I think this is my first one filmed with my new camera. I did a backdrop this time, and actually I think I'm going to start doing this a lot more, and I'll give you guys a lot more videos and information about what's going on. Once I'm done blending that out, I'm going to take my Cow Cosmetics little fluffy brush, it's a little dirty, and my Airspun setting powder. I'm just going to apply this right under my eyes, pretty much all over my face. I end up setting my whole entire face, which is crazy. I know it's a matte foundation, but I barely put any. I focus more on my T-zone, so under my eyes, top of my eyes, chin, forehead, that little area. Then I'm going to go in later on and just set my whole face. Alright, once I'm done there, I'm going to move to my brows. Yeah, hot mess, I know. I spoolie them out first, and then I'm going to just go in with my Dipbrow. I think it's the shade dark brown. Then I go in with my angled brush from Anastasia. I believe it was number 12. The number's rubbed off, so I'm not sure. I start out by just underlining my brow, kind of building my arch on where I want it to start. I think going from the bottom to top is a lot easier, in my opinion. My brows are pretty sparse, so it's kind of a mission to fill them in sometimes. I've kind of mastered it by now, but everyone always asks me how I do them, so here you go. now that I'm finishing up my brows, I go ahead and set them with an eyeshadow. This is Espresso from MAC. Hella old, I've had it forever, but it's lasting me. I use this to set my brows. I just go over them just so, I don't know, it makes them look a little bit softer, and in case I miss some areas with the Dipbrow, I just fill this in over it. I used to use 2 brown shades, but now I just go in with this one, and I just go over them really quickly. I do my brows kind of messy just because I know I'm going to go in and conceal them afterwards and be able to clean them up. So once I'm done with that, then we're going to go ahead and conceal them. I'm using a BH Cosmetics brush. Most of my brushes that I'm using in this video are all Morphe and BH Cosmetics. If you guys want a link, they'll be at the bottom. I just take my NYX concealer, same one, and just go right under. I end up thinning them out just a tiny bit more because I don't want thick brows. So once I do this, then I go ahead and set them. Alright, and don't forget to blend out the concealer you put around your eyebrows. You don't want any harsh lines. Then I'm going to go in with a brown mascara, and I take the brush from one of my old mascara ones. It's like thinner, and then I pretty much use this as like a brow gel. It's pretty much the same thing. It makes a little bit of a difference. It like enhances the front of your brow and makes those brow hairs actually look brown in case they are a little bit lighter. And it just makes them match a lot more. I think it makes a big difference in my opinion, especially if you don't have a lot of eyebrow hair. It kind of makes them look a little bit thicker, especially if you have dark hair and you want darker brows. So once I'm done with this, that pretty much completes how I do my brows. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to face. This is where I'm going to set my whole face. I barely put any on my brush. It's kind of just thrown everywhere. This is another Cal Cosmetics brush. I got this brand when I was in school at Paul Mitchell, and it's actually a really nice brand. Their brushes are really affordable and they work pretty good. I would compare them kind of to BH Cosmetics in a way with, yeah, probably BH Cosmetics. So once I set my whole entire face, make sure you bring it down to your neck. I feel like the shade matched pretty well. Then I go ahead and, crazy as it sounds, I use a really dark shade to contour sometimes to kind of set. So these are 2 eyeshadows from Anastasia. I forgot the names of them, and they're covered up by magnets now. And I forgot the name of this brush. Oh, Crown Cosmetics, I believe. An angled brush and 2 Anastasia shades. I just barely take any, and I start out my contour. It kind of just makes a drastic line to begin with, and then I blend it out with lighter shades as I go on. Taking, I believe it's not hot chocolate. It might be hot chocolate from Anastasia. And I just buff this in to kind of create where I want my contour to be. I have chubbier cheeks, so I try and make my cheekbones show a little bit more as best as I can. Alright, now that I'm done contouring with my eyeshadows, I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil in medium/deep matte. This bronzer works pretty well. I use it mainly to finish off whatever contour I did do. It's not dark enough for how I want, but I just take it along my jawline, my forehead. That's about it. I don't contour my nose. I don't contour any other part of my face. Just keep it in the basics. It buffs out really well. If I ever am like using a too harsh of contour, I just use my color switch and like clean it off and then just go back in with the same color. Once I'm done contouring, I'm going to go with my Airspun and a dry Different Beauty blender and just carve out the bottom of my contour. People say it's baking. I'm just carving out the bottom and cleaning it up a little bit so it's more of a crisp like contour. Now I'm going to use some Fix Plus and my Morphe angled brush to highlight. I'm using Moonstone by Anastasia from one of the glow kits. I love this highlighter. It's like a pink gold and it's like a rose gold. I usually mix a lot of them. I just go on my nose, cupid's bow, chin, obviously both cheekbones. I throw a little bit on my forehead. Probably shouldn't highlight my forehead, but why not? I'm going to use a flat brush from BH Cosmetics and then just go for my brow bone, kind of blend it all together. Then I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the excess setting powder. Then I go in and take my beauty blender and I kind of just like melt the highlight and everything together. Using a damp beauty blender really helps. Toss on some mascara, then we're going to prep for false lashes. I get hundreds of questions on what lashes I use. I use the same ones I've been using for about a year. They're from eBay. They're $1.50. They're called Toplash. I'll link them below because it's a big long list of how to get them on eBay. They're amazing though, and they're free shipping. They take a little bit to get in because they come from China, I believe, but they're amazing. They're really lightweight and really fluffy. I just let them dry for a minute. I let them dry for a really long time. I'm using Duo glue. And once I let them get really tacky, then I set them on. I put my lashes on really close to my lash line. I don't know how, but I managed to. I showed a little bit in the video on how I get them really close, but once they're dry, I just go ahead and take them, place them in the middle of my eye. I sometimes get nervous about putting them on so close, but nothing's happened so far. Just go in from corner to corner, just moving them around wherever they're going to fit comfortably. I pull mine more to the outside of my eye instead of the inner corner because I know they're going to pop off. I have pretty big eyes, so these lashes I don't have to cut them. I just toss them on. These ones are old, but I was getting ready for work, so I just tossed on whatever I had. Once I get my lashes secured on, I let them dry for a second, then I go in with my tweezers and just clamp them down to my lash line and get them a little bit closer and kind of where I want them to be. Be careful doing this. Use maybe a different tool, not just your tweezers. After that, I believe I am done, and then I go ahead and go in with my Best Damn Lip Mask from Nicole. This stuff is amazing, amazing. After I'm done prepping my lips, I'm pretty much done after that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm glad to be back, and you'll be seeing a lot more from me. So stay tuned.